It's an election year, in case you hadn't noticed. And this year, more than any other, politicians are playing in the social media space. There are strategies and spin, and occasionally a big scrap. One of the first skirmishes pre-election went down between DA leader Helen Zille and a journalist whom she accused of being too scared to take on the ANC because she's white. Now that got us thinking about the notion of a twar and how to wage one in 140 characters or less.
South Africans are taken to Twitter like ducks to water. According to the Worldwide Work Social Media in South Africa summary for 2014, South Africa boasts 5.5 million Twitter users at a conservative estimate. And like you'd expect, some of the star players in the South African Twitter sphere are politicians, the most prolific of which is one Premier Helen Zille of the Western Cape. Needless to say, when politics and opinion collide, there's bound to be blood on the floor. If there's one thing South Africans love, it's a good twar. And it's not like things are likely to simmer down anytime soon. On May the 7th, 2014, the smattering of South Africans who bothered to register their identification number, blood type and favourite colour with the Independent Electoral Commission will head to voting polls. Thumbs will be marked, barcodes bleeped, ballots crossed and trash talk talked. In the interests of a free and fair election and winning any argument you're involved in, we present to you this short collection of do's and don'ts to twar by, leading up to South Africa's most hotly contested vote since 1994. First off, if you're going to pick a fight, make sure you start one with a semi-prominent media personality. There are loads of these chumps all over Twitter, present company included, and they're likely to have a much higher following than you. If you sucker them into a fight, you'll have a much greater reach than you could have ever hoped for when you were sitting there tweeting on your ace. Pro tip: make sure to place a full stop at the start of every tweet. Doing so will make your tweet visible to every single individual who follows you and/or your opponent. Failure to do so will limit the visibility of your conversation to people who follow the both of you, which is unlikely to be very many. Whatever you do, don't break Godwins Law. Google that. Okay, let's talk heavy artillery. If you think you might be losing the argument on facts and logic alone, you can always resort to the insult. It is customary to follow up with the hashtag #DropsMic, at which point it is best practice to avoid all further direct correspondence and implement part 3 of your twar strategy, which is, of course, subtweeting. The subtweet is a gentle decrescendo of passive-aggressive insults in which no one is explicitly tagged or named, but the content and timing of the tweet makes the exact subject obvious to all who care to spectate. Subtweeting is to the twar what the mint chocolate thin is to a multi-course gourmet dinner. Closure. The road has been long, and between Mampella's great betrayal, Julius's taxes, Helen's subtweets, and Jacob's sick days, goodness knows it has been dark and twisty. But hold fast to this wisdom, and I guarantee you'll make it to a voting booth. Battered and bruised, perhaps, but alive, and with your tweeting integrity intact.